this is one thing that I did. I wallowed. And the thing is, when you wallow, the time does not pause for you to catch up. The consequences of your setback are still multiplying. And if anything, they're like a snowball rolling downhill. It's catching more snow. It's getting bigger. It's causing more havoc.
Sit back, relax, and chill. Grab a glass of wine or a cup of tea, 'cause you're listening to NoTable Talk.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Otumba. Welcome back to NoTable Talk, a podcast where I share some lessons from my life experiences that you may be able to resonate with too. If it's your first time, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And maybe it's not your first time. Appreciate you for coming back. Thank you. If you're still here, go ahead and like and subscribe. And you can also turn on the post notification bell because the episodes are going to be coming pretty frequently, especially with this new format I'm doing. If you've watched the last episode, you would take note of the fact that I'm breaking my own tables. I mean, I wonder why I'm just taking this long to do this. I mean, it is NoTable Talk anyway, so I'm going to be breaking my own tables. And the goal is that at the end of the day, there will be no tables in existence. We'll see how long that takes. I mean, typically it should take your whole life, but there'll be no tables in existence. And I think that a lot of the tables that I am on personally, some of us could be on those tables as well. So in me airing my dirty laundry, I'm not just airing it for the sake of airing it. I'm airing it to be cleaned and also so that the rest of us can clean ours in private so we don't have to. So I'm pretty much putting myself on the slaughter for the sake of myself and for everybody else. But that's just an lighter note. But thank you for coming back and thank you for watching if it's your first time or listening if it's your first time. Without any further ado, let's get into it. So from the last episode, the table I'm breaking is the fact that I yearn to do extraordinary things. I see myself doing great things, extraordinary things, making a name for myself, doing remarkable things and having a great impact on my world, on generations. But I struggle to break down that goal or those goals into small, manageable, everyday steps or routines. And even when I'm able to break it down, I struggle to abide by those rules, abide by those routines. I struggle to commit to those routines. And the last episode, I focused more on the first part being the fact that I just struggle to break it down. I struggle to make the large goal into manageable routines. And I went more into how, at the end of the day, process is inevitable for anything that's of great value, of inherent value. And in my conversation, I talked about how, at the end of the day, because anything of value takes time, and because process or time is in the process, the process is in time. So at the end of the day, anything of value is in the process. So that great thing you want to do only has value if that value is being built into the process. You feel me? You have to go through the process, but you have to put in the work. And at the end of the day, your commitment to want to achieve what you want to achieve, if you really, really want to get there, if you really, really want to be the man or the woman or the boss that you see yourself being, achieving extraordinary things, that commitment will show in your commitment to the process. Like I said in the previous episode, the example we're going to be using throughout this table is the example of a baby from conception to delivery through all the fetal stages. And at the end of the day, if a mother is committed to giving birth to a healthy baby, she has to be willing to go through the process. And not just go through the process in the 9 months, but go through the process well. Abstaining from all the things she should abstain from, picking up all the habits she should pick up, taking care of herself. So her commitment to the process will determine the quality of life that the baby would have. You feel me? But I don't want to go into what I talked about in the last episode. If you want to get the gist of it, go watch it. It's really good. Today, I'm going to start focusing on the next part, being the fact that even when I do break it down into manageable steps, I sometimes struggle to abide by those steps, commit to those steps, apply myself to those routines. I could start with the biggest drive and I could just fall off. You feel me? And today, I'm going to focus on one reason that I've figured out to where I think of things in that way, or to where I struggle with those things, or struggle to break or abide by those routines, is the fact that I get so much drive and energy from the possibility of the goal. I can imagine or foresee where I want to be, foresee what I want to do. And I have the ability to apply myself. But then I realized that at the end of the day, my drive, my energy is fueled by the possibility of that goal being achieved. Meaning that when I'm then faced with certain things that could speak otherwise of those goals coming to pass, when I'm faced with certain obstacles that make things look less likely or unlikely, it kind of takes the wind out of my sails. Let's say I'm an athlete and I'm training for the Olympics. I'm trying to beat Usain Bolt's 100-meter record. And I'm training, I can see, I have the ability, I'm fast. And I'm training to get faster, And I can see the goal in sight. That goal in sight gets me working. I wake up every morning at the crack of dawn. I'm in training on time. I plan myself. I train multiple times a day. I eat right. I do all those kind of things. And then I get an injury. And then that injury seems like a monumental interruption to that goal. It makes that goal seem less possible. And then it takes the wind out of my sails. And I'm like, oh boy, this doesn't look likely. This doesn't look possible. This is something that I have overcome in a lot of ways. And I'm still overcoming. It does something my mom always says. I remember my mom has said before, she said that you're never really out of the woods. The things you struggle with, the goal is for them to just disappear one day. But the fact that you overcome them doesn't mean that you're out of the woods. They will still come back. You still have to work on it, possibly for the rest of your life. It's a conscious thing that you have to keep in check. So I'm still consciously working on this. And thankfully, I'm working on this pretty well. I'm pretty diligent in this. And there are certain things that certain mindsets have imbibed that have helped me overcome this, have helped me overcome obstacles that seem to jeopardize the possibility of this great thing I want to achieve. The first thing I want to say is just keep it in mind to be diligent in what you have to do. Do what you have to do. I use the example of an athlete. You get an injury. At the end of the day, it's kind of messed up. It's kind of sad. But what's the next step? You nurse the injury. You recover. You rehabilitate. You get what I'm saying? You get back on track. It is what you have to do. If you allow that injury, just allow you to sit down and lounge and just pity yourself, it's not helping matters. You feel me? Be diligent in what you have to do per time. Do what you have to do. The Bible says that says that a man diligent in his business, he will stand before kings and not mean men. A lot of us want to stand before kings. And to stand before kings, you have to be diligent in your business. If you're not diligent in your business, you will not stand before kings. You stand before mean men. So that's the first thing I've imbibed. Be diligent in your business. Things may not look encouraging. Keep at it. Remember, I'm talking about the everyday manageable routines, the everyday manageable steps. This is after you have successfully been able to break things down into the steps. Let's say, for instance, this podcast, I'm able to break it down into what I want to record per week, into the different episodes I can map out for the next couple of months or the next couple of weeks. It's funny because I haven't just got to the point where I started to do that, and I'm already seeing the difference. The second thing I've imbibed is the fact that I redefine the dependence of my drive. Remember, I said that when I'm faced with challenges that seem to jeopardize the possibility of where I'm trying to get to or where I'm headed, it takes the wind out of my sails. And that made me wonder, where is the source of my wind? I've realized that because I was so dependent on how things looked, my drive was on actually how things looked, as opposed to where I was headed. So I tried to change my mindset and say to myself, I don't want to judge my situation based on how things appear or on the opinion of men. Especially because my worldview is framed by God. My life is founded on God. And the things I see for myself come from Him. So I focus on the unwaveringness of His faithfulness, the unwaveringness of His ability, and the unwaveringness of His promise. Allow that to be the source of my feel, of my drive. That's where my wind comes from. So I end up not judging things based on how they seem, based on how it sounds, based on what people say, based on the situation around me. I mean, the Bible says the sun shall not smite you by day, Bro, that's what the sun does. The sun smites by day. If you all step out into the day, into the daylight, we're being smitten by the sun. But the Bible said the sun shall not smite you by day, meaning that you're not under the laws of how things appear. This particular one, it could take a while because it's a change in perspective. It's a change in perspective. So you have to determine where your drive is from. Because I can assure you, if your drive is based on things that are right in front of you, bro. Some of us on this table understand what I'm saying. I know we understand what I'm saying. To where just you not having money to pay a bill could just throw you off track. It could throw you off track. The slightest inconvenience, especially with the fact that you have so much going on in your life already, and then one more thing just comes up. Isn't that just like life? One thing just comes, there's always something that just comes up. One more thing just comes up and it just throws you off track. That's one thing I've made a conscious effort on. And I'm still learning. Third and final thing is we're human. And a lot of the times our humanity could show. Sometimes it may not just be our humanity. It could be anything. It could also be subject to somebody else. Somebody else could throw a wrench in our works, especially when your dream is bigger than yourself and there are other people involved. There could be setbacks that can come from anywhere. It may even be out of your hands. It could be the economy. It could be the wrong advice. You just slacking. It could be anything. But I realized that when you face a setback, the best thing to do, get back on track. Get back on track, bro. Your dream, let me say I'm talking to myself because it's my table. It's my table. I've realized that my dream is too monumental to be jeopardized by any little setback. Where I'm headed, what I see myself achieving is testament to a capacity that I believe I have, or I believe I can continue to gather to get there. And the capacity that I have is too much to be jeopardized by this setback. Not only that, the capacity that I have is more than enough to recover from any setback. So the problem is not, are you able to make up for the setback? The problem is, do you decide to make up for that setback? Do you decide to get back on track? I'm a huge proponent of processing your feelings and coming to terms with situations and all of that. But there's a difference between processing your feelings and wallowing, bro. Don't wallow indefinitely, because I can assure you there is a too long. And you see this particular point, it's something that I personally feel passionate about, because you remember in the last episode, I talked about some of my challenges, some of my struggles, especially in the educational sphere. This is one thing that I did. I wallowed. And the thing is, when you wallow, the time does not pause for you to catch up. The consequences of your setback are still multiplying. And if anything, they're like a snowball rolling downhill. It's catching more snow. It's getting bigger. It's causing more havoc. Wallowing does you a world of hurt. A world of hurt. This is one thing that really held me down. This particular point, it really held me down. Wallowing. Because life, nobody's perfect. We'll make mistakes. We would fail. For lack of a better word, we would fail. But you see, wallowing, oh my God, don't wallow. Don't wallow. Because there is a too late. There is a too late. You have to get back on track. Pick yourself up. Dust yourself off. Because I can assure you, whatever you have to overcome now, whatever that setback, whatever consequences that setback has given you, whatever you have to overcome now is much better than what you'd have to overcome if you let it fester. So get back on track. Get back on track. Alrighty. I'll stop there for now. Next week, I'll go into another aspect of this, another aspect that I discovered that was a factor that caused me to sometimes struggle to subject myself to those everyday routines, even when I'm able to break things down. But sometimes I feel off track. Sometimes I find it hard to get back on track. If you're on this table, just say we're in this together. Let me know. Because I cannot be the only one. I know for sure. If you're not on this table, but you know somebody that's on this table, send it to them. I'm sure to help them. Like, share, subscribe. Like I said earlier, turn on the post notifications so that when a new episode comes, you're notified. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. Have a blessed one. Take it easy. All right, peace.
Sit back, relax, and chill. Grab a glass of wine or a cup of tea, 'cause you're listening to NoTable Talk.